Good afternoon. My name is Richard Barrett, and I'm going to be talking today about well-being in Indonesia. So let's get started. I'm going to share my screen and put up my presentation. It is rather appropriate that today is Indonesia National Awakening Day. And what we're going to be talking about is becoming stronger as a nation through bonding and cooperation. First of all, who am I? I'm the president of the Academy for the Advancement of Human Values based in London. Our mission is to discover, incubate, and develop ideas and concepts that support the evolution of human consciousness. So my agenda today is first of all to discuss what is well-being, then to talk about some international comparisons with Indonesia and the G20, and then finally to talk about well-being development for Indonesia. This is based on my book, Worldview Dynamics and the Well-Being of Nations. And one of my friends wrote about this book. This is a powerful text. It's exactly what the world needs to transition to a new way of being. So let's get on with the agenda, improving the well-being of Indonesia. What is well-being? Well, there are two aspects to well-being: national well-being and personal well-being. National well-being, that's about improving the ability of the country to meet the needs of the nation at the stage of the development it is at. And then personal well-being, the ability to meet the needs of the people at the stage of development that they are at. So what is national well-being? Let's begin by looking at national well-being in Indonesia. And I'm going to use my global well-being indicators to do that. Nations all over the world are beginning to recognize that the key to sustainable economic progress is to improve the well-being of the citizens. A global well-being indicator has been created to help and strengthen this work. And you can find out more about it at www.globalwellbeingindicators.org. So there are 7 stages to the growth and development of a nation, just as there are 7 stages to the growth and development of people. First of all, viability, then about relationships, performance, how do we evolve, living authentically, collaborating, and contribution. For the first 3 are all about satisfying what Abraham Maslow called our deficiency needs. This is the drive for stability. If you don't have stability, you don't have a good foundation. And then there are conditions necessary for evolution. And then finally, the conditions necessary which create growth, what I call development needs. So I've identified 17 global indicators that actually fit into these 3 conditions: the drive for stability, conditions for evolution, and the drive for growth. These are indicators which are produced by somebody else, by other people all over the world, universities, etc. And I have incorporated them into my model. So first of all, in this first level of the model here, we call the Barrett model, we have viability, it's economic performance, health infrastructure, and reducing corruption. This is at the first level. The second level is about relationships, about increasing peace and personal safety. And the third level is business support and education. So these are the necessary steps for stability: economic performance, personal safety, business support, education. Now, what are the necessary steps for evolution? First of all, gender equality, media freedom, democracy, and individual freedom. And now, what are the conditions for growth? Well, first of all, social capital, social progress, environmental protection and environmental quality, and happiness and strength and stability of the nation. So these are the 3 things that are important for growth. So here are some global comparisons based on 145 nations. The highest scoring nation is Denmark with a global well-being indicator of 598. The lowest score is Afghanistan with a GWI indicator of 190. This is data from 2020. I'm in the process of updating that data to 2021. The average global score is 405. Indonesia's score is 413, so it's above the average global score, just above. And the average score in the G20 is 456. So it's slightly below the average in the G20. So this is what we're going to be focusing on, the Indonesia score. So here we get into comparing Indonesia with the G20. So first of all, what is the most important? Well, actually, social capital. Indonesia ranks #1 in the G20 for social capital and #6 in the world in these 145 nations. This is an amazing performance. That is all about gotong royong. I don't know whether I'm pronouncing that right, but it's that sense of being together and working together. So everybody in Indonesia should congratulate themselves at being #6 in the world for social capital and #1 amongst the G20. Now, the next highest level for Indonesia in the G20 is peace. It comes #9 in the G20 ranking, and it's #47 in the world. Again, a very good ranking. Then we come to personal safety. Indonesia ranks #11 in the G20 and #68 in the world. In terms of environmental quality, it's quite high. It ranks 12 in the G20 and 62 in the world. In terms of strength and stability of a nation, it ranks #13 in the G20 and #72 in the global ranking. In terms of business support, Indonesia ranks #13 in the G20 and #60 in the world. In terms of gender equality, Indonesia ranks #13 and #77 in the world, #13 in the G20. In terms of democracy, Indonesia ranks #15 in the G20 and 61 in the world. In terms of individual freedom, Indonesia ranks #15 in the G20 and #92 in the world. In terms of economic performance, Indonesia ranks 15 in the G20 and #56 in the world. In terms of education, Indonesia ranks 16 in the G20 and #80 in the world. In the realm of media freedom, Indonesia ranks 16 in the G20 and 75 in the world. In terms of social progress, Indonesia ranks 16 in the G20 and 78 in the world. It ranks 16 in happiness and 79 in the world. It ranks 17 in the G20 and 88 in the world. And it ranks 18 in corruption and 85 in the world. Clearly, this is something that needs to be worked on, as is environmental protection. It ranks 18 in the G20 and 97 in the world. These are, let me just go back. So these are the G20's rankings for Indonesia and global rankings. On the whole, quite good, particularly in the area of social capital and peace. So what are the conclusions? First of all, I think it's important to build on the strengths. That's social capital, what you refer to as gotong royong, peace, and personal safety. These are the three areas in which Indonesia, compared to the G20, and actually compared to many other countries in the world, where Indonesia is quite strong. The weak points, if you like, the things that Indonesia really needs to work on are environmental protection, health services, and reducing corruption. So let's turn our attention now to personal well-being. Every person on the planet is on a personal journey. It begins with the surviving stage of development, then the conforming stage. The surviving stage is from babyhood, basically, from 1 to 2, from being born to 2 years old, and conforming from age 3 to 7, differentiating from age 8 or 9 until early 20s, individuating. This is the 20s and 30s, self-actualizing, which is in our 40s, integrating, which is in our 50s, and then serving, which is beyond the 60s, 60 and beyond. So what are the needs of each of these stages of development? Here they are: surviving, conforming, differentiating. This is what Maslow called deficiency needs. You have to be able to satisfy these needs before you can actually focus on individuating, which is the transformation where you become your own master. And instead of falling in step with everybody else, you begin to find out who you truly are. And you move to the self-actualizing, integrating, and serving stages, which is all about your growth. So what are the surviving stage needs? The babies need to get their physiological needs met, to feel loved and cared for. This is basic for the surviving stage, 0 to 2 years old. The conforming stage, which is from age 3 to about 8 or 7, these are the needs of children. They need to feel safe, protected, and loved, and they need to feel a sense of belonging. Now, for teenagers, the needs are different. They want to be recognized for their accomplishment by their parents and by their peers. They want to be part of a group where they feel a sense of security. The individuating stage, this is the stage for young adults. They want to experience freedom and autonomy to be who they are, and they want to exercise responsibility and accountability. The needs of the self-actualizing stage, these are the needs of adults in their 40s, maybe in their 30s too, is to feel a sense of meaning and purpose in their life, to become fully who you are. The needs of the integrating stage, these are the more mature adults. They want to be able to mentor and coach other younger people, and they want to make a difference in the world. And the needs of the serving stage, these are the needs of the senior adults. They want to contribute to the greater good. They're interested in selfless service. So these are the different sets of needs at different stages of development. So now let's bring national well-being together with personal well-being. And we get this human well-being matrix. This is something I've just developed. So in the first column, you see the personal needs at each level of consciousness, employee needs, community needs, and society needs. And so if you follow across the bottom of the survival level, level 1, our personal needs are for survival, our needs as employers are for security in our jobs, the needs of our community are self-sufficiency, and the needs for our society are stability. So now let's look at each of these. So we can follow this around like a clock. So on the left-hand side, you've got at the top personal needs, then employee needs, and then you go down to community needs and across to society needs. So personal needs are what we need in our lives, what we need as employees in our work lives, what we need in our communities, and what we need in society. So in terms of our personal needs, we need survival at the first level of consciousness. You see that marked in the middle. And as an employee, we need job security. In our communities, our survival needs or level 1 needs are self-sufficiency. If we're not self-sufficient, we won't be able to continue to function. And we need stability at the societal level. So now at the relationship level, in our personal need, we need to feel a sense of belonging. We, as an employee, we want to work, to be able to work together in a collegial manner as friends working together. And we, in our community, we need to feel a sense of inclusion. Whereas in our society, we want to feel a sense of safety at this second level of the relationship level. In terms of our third level of consciousness, we want to feel a sense of self-esteem. As we go to work, we want to be able to do excellent work. That will make us feel good. And in terms of our community, we want a strong, resilient community. And in terms of our society, we need our society to be secure. We want it to be safe and secure. And now in terms of transformation at level 4 consciousness, as an individual, what we need is freedom. As an employee, we need autonomy to be able to explore initiatives and be innovative. In terms of our community, it's important to have equality. And in terms of our society, we want accountability. We want the people running our society to be accountable to the people. At the 5th stage of development, our personal needs are for self-expression, to be who you truly are. That means being creative in your work. These are the employee needs. And then in terms of our community, we want to experience fairness. And in terms of society, we want to experience justice. Now, in the 6th stage of development, we want to be able to connect with people. And this means when you're an employee, you want to be able to make a difference. If you can't connect, you can't make a difference. And in order to make a difference, you need to feel a sense of empathy, particularly in the community. And you also want to, in the society, be sustainable. And then finally, at the 7th level of consciousness, individually, we want to do acts of service. We want to make a contribution as an employee. We want to operate with compassion in our community, and we need to take care of our future generations at the level of society. So these are then the needs of each stage of development, each level of consciousness, both on a personal, our personal needs as an employee, in our community, and in society. So I hope you've enjoyed the presentation. I'm going to now give you a few resources that you can use. Here are some of the books that I've written on building everything I've learned about values, building a values-driven organization, the new leadership paradigm, and worldview dynamics. And if you want to find out more about being a nation that focuses on well-being, check out the Humanity Awareness Initiative website. Here on this website, you'll find a link to the Humanity Awareness Learning Community, and where there are free resources and courses that you can take. So that's the end of my presentation. I hope you've enjoyed it, and I hope you have a wonderful day, and I look forward to seeing you again in the future.